What a incredible race we had this weekend around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the 2025 Indy 500, the 109th running of the Indy 500. What a race this was. How am I going to sum this up into just 5 different things? Well, that is what I'm going to do. That is what I like doing, and that is what I get paid to do, of course, as well for you guys. So here we go, guys. Here are the 5 things that we learned from the 2025 Indy 500. Honestly, you can make 20. You can make 20. Go and watch the full race replay of this. I do implore you do that. It was such an entertaining race. But let's dive in. So the first thing that we learned, something that we very much do know from previous years, is that Indy is brutal. It picks its winner, and if you're not picked, you have no luck and you've got no chance, unfortunately. And unfortunately, that did very much apply to Scott McLaughlin at the start of this race. Scotty Mac spun out before the race even got underway, on the parade lap, on the formation lap, whatever it is actually called, because of course it's a rolling start for the Indy 500. Unfortunately, he was out before a wheel was even turned in the 500 miles. We got a slightly delayed start because of that. If you're wondering why he spun out, he basically said he had no idea. He was absolutely distraught and depressed in his interview, and I don't blame him. This whole month is building up to all of this action on Sunday afternoon at Memorial Day weekend, and all that preparation gone out of the window before the 500 had even started. I feel for him so much. That is brutal. For what it's worth, a lot of this race was basically running quite damp and cold conditions. It wasn't properly full on raining at any point, but there were spits and sprinkles of rain throughout the actual race that did throw the odd caution here and there. It made the track very slippy. The cold temperatures made those Firestone tyres very hard to fire up, and unfortunately, Scotty Mac, he must have made some sort of mistake. You know, these things do happen even to experienced drivers, but let us talk about one of the most inexperienced drivers in the field, Robert Schwartzman. He came on pole position for this weekend. Unbelievable stuff that he managed to do that. Prema's debut at the Indy 500, his debut on an oval as well. He's been competing full-time for Prema this season in the IndyCar series. It was the first oval, of course, of the IndyCar season, and he put it on pole. His lead did not last very long, unfortunately, for him. The experience of other drivers such as Pato O'Ward and Takuma Sato, who were up there, saw them get past him very, very quickly. Schwartzman, though, I mean, I don't think he would have been a threat for the victory today, but he could have got a top 10. Of course, that could have easily happened for him, but unfortunately, it was not to be. He ended up running into his pit crew during a stop later on in the race. I really feel for him. That is so easy to do, and as we'll get into with one of these 5 things that we learned, the pit stops throughout this race were key, and they were disastrous for some of the drivers that fell afoul of them, and I'll get into why as we go further on. But yeah, just a bit of inexperience. These cars are designed to be run at 220 miles an hour for those 500 miles, so when you stop and try and get them down the pit lane, they're not designed to do that. They're very, very big and awkward at low speed, unfortunately. And yeah, Schwartzman, he did fall afoul of that. Thankfully, I believe none of his pit crew members are seriously injured from that, but he must have hit a good 4 or 5 of them. Really, really horrible that. I do not implore that you watch that if you're squeamish. It's not the easiest of viewing, but yeah, that ended Schwartzman's race in a competitive capacity at very least. But yeah, no double duty though for Kyle Larson. He spun out midway through the race, unfortunately. Of course, so for those that don't know, Kyle Larson, a previous champion in the NASCAR Cup Series, he's competing, or he did later compete, of course, in the Charlotte Motor Speedway Coke 600 that was on later that day. And yeah, unfortunately, he was spun out partway through the race, about halfway through the race. He took out Stingray Rob with him, unfortunately. And yeah, again, these damp and cold and slippery conditions really at Indy proving to, you know, hurt the guys that are more inexperienced. Of course, Larson is a very experienced race car driver, but he's not an experienced IndyCar driver. I believe this is only his 2nd or 3rd appearance in the Indy 500. Unfortunately, he did not manage to do double duty in that sense. He did, of course, compete in the Coke 600 later on, trying to become the next man since Tony Stewart managed it back in 2001 to run all 1,100 miles of the Coke 600, and the Indy 500 did not manage it, unfortunately crashing out of the 2025 Indy 500. But yeah, the 4th thing that we learned, absolute chaos in the pits at times. It wasn't just Schwartzman. A lot of other drivers made some key errors. A lot of other drivers got quite unlucky as well. Takuma Sato, again, a very experienced driver, of course, a two-time previous winner in the Indy 500. He was in the picture to be able to win this weekend as well, but unfortunately, he ran long in his pit stop later on in the race, costing him a whole heap of time. Of course, the laps around Indy are so quick that if you lose 10-20 seconds in the pits, you're losing a significant portion of a lap, if not an entire lap as a whole, of course. So yeah, Takuma Sato falling foul of that. Rinus VeeKay, of course, spinning into the pits as well. Alex Rossi, his car lit on fire going through the pits, and there was one other casualty of the pit lane that I will mention for my final thing, which I'm going to kind of tie into really the closing stages of the race, and that is the key thing really for the final thing. Alex Palou won his first ever victory around an oval in IndyCar, the three-time IndyCar champion. I'm going to say it, and I've said it since about round 4, to be honest. The champion-elect this year in the IndyCar series has continued his near-perfect record in 2025, winning all but one race so far this season, and that one he managed to finish in second place at the Thermal Club, I do believe it was. I mean, incredible stuff, unbelievable. He made the decisive move very late on, 14 laps to go, I believe it was, against Marcus Ericsson. Marcus, he left the door open and Palou came steaming through. There's nothing that the Swede could do about it at that point. The Spaniard drank the milk for the first time after the Indy 500. I'm elated for him. I'm devastated though for Ericsson. I really am. That would have been incredible. He made one mistake in the last stages of those races, and it wasn't even an out-and-out mistake really. Maybe he should have shut the door, maybe he should have made it more difficult for Palou, but as it was, his chance was very much gone at that point. He was not able to catch up. He ran him all the way, and even worse for Marcus Ericsson, he was disqualified after the race, so his second place won't even stand either. I mean, imagine if he managed to actually win the race and then get disqualified. But my God, what an absolutely horrible day for him in the end. He came so close, and then to have even a second place snatched from him like that, I can't imagine what he's going through today. This must be such a difficult time for him. Yeah, Ericsson down and out of the race because of a hybrid system technical infringement. Kyle Kirkwood the same, both of those Andretti cars unfortunately falling foul of that, and the Premier of Callum Ilott was also disqualified post-race as well because of a wing end plate discretion. So yeah, really sad for Marcus Ericsson, but that's Indy, when you looks out, and when you looks in, it is very much in as well. Connor Daly was up there too. Malukas was in the window to be able to win this race too, but my God, he unfortunately stalled in the pit lane. Another inexperienced driver. Oh, God. Hunter Ray as well. Hunter Ray was up there too, but in the end, it was Alex Palou, the man who's Mr. Perfect pretty much this season. My God, he's heading for a GOAT season. I told you after the last round, the Indy Grand Prix, this guy's heading for the greatest of all time IndyCar season. I think AJ Foyt is the man who had an equal winning percentage after 6 rounds, I think it was, before this round in the Indy 500. But of course, he's won the Indy 500 too, so that streak keeps on going. What can stop Palou right now? Because now he's got the confidence of being able to win on an oval, being able to win around the most difficult oval of the lot as well, the Indy 500, where, luck plays a lot into it, a lot of skill required too. And my God, he had plenty of both. I mean, I didn't really have luck, to be honest with you, did he? He was just good. He was just great. He did a fantastic move to win the race, and he deserves it. But your thoughts in the comments below, guys. There was so much going on. There's so many different storylines, so many big crashes and wrecks and everything in between. It's such an entertaining race. Go watch it back if you get the chance. I do really recommend it. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of this, guys. And have a fantastic time wherever you are in the world today. And we'll see you very soon for much more content just like this on American Open Wheel Racing.